Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a few DIYs that I've done, and I decided to go for a glam theme. So two of these DIYs are actually items which have been upcycled, and if it wasn't for that, they would have just ended up in the trash. So I really like this concept. If you guys would like to see more of such videos, just let me know. I really do like the idea of recycling, reusing and upcycling items, just so that we can, look after the world while we having fun with our crafts as well. So before we get into the video, I would just like to remind you guys to like, comment and subscribe. I also would just like to thank you guys for 500 subscribers, and yeah, I've got a few videos coming up, so I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys are gonna like all my videos. But you know what, let me stop rambling and let's just get started with the video. For this DIY, you're going to need some spray paint. You can choose any color of your choice. I decided to go for black, as well as a tin. I used the one that had some chocolate wafers. You could also use a gloss. I also got some glass pebbles for this, as well as a hot glue gun to stick on the pebbles. With a permanent marker, I made markings all over my tin so that I could ensure that my glass pebbles would be evenly distributed or spaced out. You can decide to use any pattern you want, like straight lines or zigzags on your tin or glass. Once your hot glue gun has warmed up, you can then start sticking on your glass pebbles onto your tin. Just make sure that you don't get a lot of glue onto the tin, because it will leak out onto the edges of your glass pebbles. Once you've stuck on all of your glass pebbles, just make sure that you pull off any of the glue strings that might be left behind. In a well-ventilated area, or preferably outside, you can then spray paint your tin. I would advise that you hold your spray paint at least 30 centimeters away from the tin, so that you don't leave any droppings or it doesn't spray on too hard and it starts dripping. When spray painting, I would advise that you do several thin layers of paint so that it's evenly distributed and you don't get any drippings or uneven textures. 3 or more layers of paint should be fine. And that's our vase. That was such a nice and easy DIY, and I especially love it with a white floral arrangement. For this DIY, you're going to need some frames, which I got from Pep, as well as a hot glue gun. You're going to start off with removing everything from the frame and just leaving the actual frame itself. Then, with a pair of pliers, you're going to remove all of these metal pieces which originally hold the backing of your frame. Now you're going to decide what design you'd like to go for using your frames. I have decided to use these markers to help me evenly space out these frames as I create my design. Once I was happy with how my frames were evenly spaced out, I just added 2 more frames just to ensure that everything was straight, but they won't not be glued or attached to this specific design. I then took a 5th frame and placed it right in the middle just to add some visual interest to my arrangement. Then I placed some glue all over the frame on the spots where I knew that the frame would touch the other 4 frames. Now just be careful with this because it could be really tricky. As you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can notice, I had made some markings on my frame, the one on top, just to ensure that I have it equally distributed and it's right in the center. But to be honest, it's quite hard to get it to look symmetrical and to get it to look straight and clean and neat. Once I was done with that, just to make another arrangement, I took the first one and I turned it over and then placed the other frames on top of this one, just so that my arrangement is identical to the first one in terms of the spacing and placement. I will be honest with you and let you know that I did make some mistakes and had to start all over again in terms of sticking it, where I'd have to pull it all apart and then stick it on again. But you know, these frames are very forgiving and they didn't leave that many marks on them, and I think because they are shiny as well, you could notice the mistakes I made. These pieces look so nice, elegant and glam, and I really like how they fold up the space above the headboard. I really love them. For this DIY, we are going to be using this box to create a designer book. This box actually had some chocolates in it and it was part of Woolworth's Valentine's range for 2021. I really liked how the box looked like a book and the details on it were so nice, and I just thought that it would make a perfect designer book. I started off trying to design this myself, but it was so difficult, so I got a designer to do it for me, and I just need to cut this one for myself. If you guys would like to get this font, just check out the description box below. Then I had several mishaps with this DIY. I realized that when I got it printed, I did not get it fit to page, and I just got it printed in the general way, so the cover was a few millimeters small, so I could not use it in the original way that I had planned to. So I then decided to paint this book or this box with some black acrylic paint just around the borders, as I was trying to figure out how am I still going to use this cover that I got it printed without having to reprint it again. So this is you guys seeing me painting the whole entire box with some paint, with the plan of finding a way to use the cover. But I did not like the way the paint looked. It left a lot of streaks and strokes all over, and I just didn't like the texture of it, as well as this peeling that I noticed. And so I realized that I could peel off the paint, which I was so relieved to find out. So I then started peeling it off, and I was going to find another way of doing this, but I knew that this paint was definitely not going to work. I was really frustrated because I didn't know what I could do yet. I hadn't thought of any solution yet, and so you guys will see that, you know, not every DIY goes according to plan. And yep, that was me having a little tantrum. Not every DIY goes according to plan, but you know, that is the beauty of DIYs is because, you know, you get to find different ways of achieving your end look or your desired product at the end. So I just wanted to add on this part into the video just to show you that, you know, we make mistakes as well. Everyone makes mistakes and it's okay, just as long as you figure it out in the end. So I managed to get all of the paint off except those little markings that you see in front, but most of the paint was removed and I was so happy. I then figured that I'm going to spray paint the whole entire box, but I wanted to keep that page looking detail on the sides, and so I taped it using some insulating tape instead of masking tape because I didn't have any, or painter's tape. So I used insulation tape just to tape off that part, and I then went on to spray paint it. It definitely looked better spray painted and I was so happy with the result. I was so relieved. I don't know why didn't I think of doing this in the first place. Well, initially that cover was supposed to cover everything entirely, so I didn't think of it before. But now that I was done spray painting, I could then remove this tape. It is so relaxing just to watch tape being removed and peeled off. I was so happy that I could still keep this detail on the sides because I believe that it made this box look more realistic and more like a book. So I cut out these two parts of the original cover and decided to use these onto the box. So I had to cut it accurately and, you know, with straight lines. I then used double-sided tape on the back of both of these pieces of paper so that I will be able to glue it onto the book. Now that the book had been spray painted black, I didn't have to worry that the cover wasn't exactly the same size as the front of the book and the spine of the book. I then just placed it on the box to see how would I like to stick it and to see if my plan would work, unlike the first one, and I was happy with how it would turn out. So I then started removing the double-sided tape so that I could stick it on. Just be careful because double-sided tape is really sticky and quite tricky to work with, so don't get your fingers on it and don't interfere it much, and just take your time and be careful so that you get best results. I took my time with this part because I really wanted to make sure that I stuck it on properly, because with double-sided tape, once it's stuck. So you need to really make sure that you take your time with placing it and making sure that you put it in the right position. I followed the same process to stick the second or last piece of paper on the spine of the book. And with a few mistakes here and there, I eventually was done with the designer book. I really like how it turned out, and I like the fact that because it's a box, I have additional storage. I liked how it looked. It's so clean and fresh looking, and it goes with almost any aesthetic or style. And that was it from me today, guys. I really hope you guys like those DIYs. As you can see, one of the DIYs is over there. I did not attach it onto the wall anymore because I did not attach like a permanent way of like a permanent hook on it so that I can attach it. I will be doing that soon, so I just want to give you a few options as to how you can get that onto your wall. You can either use those adhesive tapes, which are good for when you want to stick frames and you don't want to leave any holes in your walls, or you could just use a hot glue gun and a paper clip to just create a little hook, and then you can hook it onto nails that you've obviously put into the wall. And those are the two options you can use to attach that onto your wall. You can just attach it onto your wall. You could put it on top of your headboard like that, or you could even put it anywhere else. It doesn't have to really be on the wall. You could put it on the tray you could put it on a table, or you could put it on your console table. It's really up to you. So I really hope you guys like that and you guys try to do it. I must be honest, it was quite tricky to get it to look symmetrical, but you know, overall I really do like that. So I just wanted to add that little piece of advice before I ended off this video. But now that I'm done, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed these DIYs. If you guys would like to see any more DIYs, just let me know. Just let me know. And that is it from me today, guys. Bye.